Alrighty. Good morning. So it's 8:30. My name is Gabriel Hoff. I'm a massage therapist. We'll be doing a little bit of morning warm-ups and uh, the theme of the class this morning, thinking about sitting and how, since a lot of people are working from home these days, and maybe just hanging out a lot at home, which seems like a good idea from everything that I read, that everybody should be pretty much staying home except for essential trips to uh, the grocery store or a quick walk outside. Um, since we're staying home a lot, we might be sitting a lot. So what happens to the body when we're sitting? Well, you might have some low back pain, you might have some kind of hip tension, upper back pain, neck pain, tension, that sort of thing. A little bit of eye strain, potentially. So that's the idea. There's so much that we could talk about and do for these things. So this morning will just be a little, like just a few tips. And Dr. Melissa Miller did a great video last week on neck stretches or shoulder stretches and upper back stuff. So if you haven't checked that out, please do. All right. So it looks like there is just one person here right now. I have a little counter. Oh, no, now two people. So upload the video so people can watch later if they want to. It's just about 8:30. We'll be going until 9 o'clock. And if you have any questions or comments, please leave them in the chat box. I might, I'll hang out for a couple minutes after 9 o'clock to, so I'm sitting now, but let's start standing. Let's see. You can see me a little bit better here. So last week we did a little joint warm-up, and I really like that. So I'm going to do the same thing, but just using the chair. We have 3 people now. All right. So let's start with ankles. Little ankle circle. Circle the other way. One of the things that happens with a lot of sitting is that the nervous system kind of turns off the signals from our legs and our feet. So that's why I started with working on the feet last week, just to wake them up a little bit. I'd love to hear if any of you were here last week. I'd love to hear if the whole week. All right, let's do the other leg. So just a little ankle circle. So if you are doing a lot of sitting, I think it really pays to do some stretching and some warm-ups for your legs. I think it's really great for body health, integration. All right, circle the other way. And I call this an ankle circle, but you might be feeling that your hip is involved as well. So we're going to do kind of the short version. So we'll do some hip circles. And go the other direction. And then let's try with the breath. So take a breath in. It doesn't have to be the deepest. And inhale. And send your hip out to the other side. Inhale. And exhale to the other side. Let's try it forward and back. So I'm going to turn so you can see. Inhale. And exhale back. And inhale. And exhale forward. And one more time. And great. All right. So the first thing, and we could do a lot more actually. Let's do some of this. So this is one of my favorite things to do if I'm sitting a lot, or if just, my posture tends to kind of curve forward. I tend to get that forward head posture, which is where my neck starts to come forward a little bit. It's no good. So one of the things that I like to do is upward stretches, right? So really simple. Inhale and imagine that there's a little wing. Let that go. Let your breath be natural. Let's try that again. Stretching up. This is great for the posture. Just reminding your back that feeling upright feels good. And maybe stretch one arm. Maybe stretch your neck a little bit to the side if that feels good. If it doesn't feel good, just see if you can feel the stretch on your side body. Okay. So then let's try, if you are not sitting, come to a seated position. I'm going to scoot up a little bit here. So we'll do some twisting. First, we'll do some active twisting, and then we'll do some passive twisting. So for the active twisting, inhale your arms up. And then as you come down, twist to the side and bring your arms up the torso to twist to the side. Let's try the other side. And down. Yeah. Good. Another way to do this is with the arms in the sort of. Great. Okay. So then, and there are 6 movements of the spine, or it depends on how you count them really. 5 or 6. But one of the movements that we didn't get to is flexion and extension. And what that means is making a little kind of curve. So slumping, finding that kind of C curve shape. That's called flexion. And then extending up. So bringing the chest up and out, right? Lifting your heart toward the ceiling. That's called extension. So we're going to do some of that. So with your hands on your knees, this is a great one to do, if you're sitting at a desk a lot. So this is from yoga. This is called seated cat and cow. It's like the cat and cow that we do in tabletop, but seated. So exhale and curve forward. And inhale, lift your belly button, lift your heart up toward the ceiling. And exhale, and do this a few times at your own pace. So totally fine. Totally fine to go slower. Totally fine to go faster. What feels good in your body this morning? And one of the pieces that I think is often missing is the jaw. You might be feeling jaw tension. So as you come up, stretching up and forward, open your jaw. Are you having any jaw tension or clenching, right? You could even stick out your tongue. That can relieve tension in the front of the neck, too. Yeah. Okay. All right, so there's an exercise that I learned from Cindy Gachonis, who's a local massage therapist and a teacher of mine. That's very similar to that. It's called C curve to S curve. So I'm turning to the side so I can show you. But basically, you're going to come into your slumped position. So you're going to make this kind of C shape with the back, right? From the back of the neck down to the sacrum, down to your hips, right? And it's a little bit of a rocking. So I'm rocking forward and inhaling up and to kind of sit up tall. So the spine is, when it's in a kind of an S curve or an S shape, so the low back is coming in a little bit, the mid back and the upper back is curving out a little bit, and then the neck is curving in, right? So there's a little curve in the neck, there's a little curve in the low back, going in, and then there's a curve going out in the upper back. That's the position of the spine that's the strongest, is this kind of S shape, right? So low back in. We're going to come into a C curve shape. And then inhale, rock forward, and use the momentum to kind of sit back on top. So the idea for this is it's not a stretch. It's more like using the momentum to find a place of sitting up that feels really easy and relaxed. So we're going for ease and relaxation here. So let's try that a couple more times. Oh. And just take a moment in this kind of upright spine long position to see if you can feel an upright posture that feels easy and relaxed. Invite your breath in. Good. One more thing I want to show about your kind of base of support. So your hips, very often, so here. So the hips can get kind of tight in this direction. So it can be great, let's say you're sitting for a while during the day, it can be great to give a little stretch. You can do a lunge like this, right? That's totally great. Here, and doing an assisted lunge. There we go. Yeah. So my hips are pretty flexible and open. It's okay if your hips don't go this far. The idea is to just feel a stretch in the front of the hip, maybe going into the thigh a little bit. And breathe. And it's great to do a dynamic stretch. So whether you're standing in a lunge or seated in a lunge, to not go to the maximum stretch and just stay there, that would be a static stretch. But at least to start with, so I'm bringing my knee down and then back, and knee down and then back. So we have this kind of flow, dynamic movement, right? You can bring your back into it as well. So just feeling that stretch as you move back and forth. And do this a little bit more at your own pace. And let's try the other side. This is not the most, not the biggest stretch you've ever done. This is just like a nice little warm up, right? So you can go feel the stretch, like if you want to do a big stretch to start. Okay, that's how that feels this morning. So then bring your knee down and then up and then down and up, right? You can rock. So I'm feeling this rocking movement with my hip, feeling this kind of flowy, dynamic stretch. Okay. And then come on back to a seated position and just take a moment to feel what that feels like in your body. Okay, so Zoom meetings and stuff with your company, you might have some tension in your face, right? So please wash your hands before touching your face. If you haven't washed your hands yet, you can take a moment to do that now. It's totally fine. Okay. So one of the things that's neglected, I think sometimes, is tension that happens in the scalp and in the face. So let's start with some scalp massage. And this is very simple. There are different ways of doing this. Of course, there are many ways of doing self-massage. But what I'm doing here is I'm feeling just a little, kind of like a flowy, like, look at my beautiful hair shampoo commercial kind of situation. This is more like I'm kind of moving I'm not moving over the surface of the skin. Right, so I'm picking one spot for my fingers, and then I could do little circles, I could do up and down, or I can move to another spot and do a little circle. And you can even see in the video that my hairline is moving. That's because my scalp is moving, right? So just searching for spots that might feel good here. Right, especially getting the occiput, right? So the occiput is behind, it's the top of the neck, kind of here. This is a really important place to massage, or it's a great place to massage because some of the muscles and the parts of the brain that make your eyes function are back here, actually. So if you've been at your computer a lot, you might be feeling a lot of eye tension, and it can be really great to massage the back of your head. So I'm just pressing in a little bit, doing like little circles, going up and down. And you can, being careful of any earrings that you might have, you can do a little stretch for your ears. So stretching down, stretching up, stretching backwards. You could stretch them out. No, it doesn't really work to stretch your ears forward, but you can stretch them out, you can stretch them back, up, down. It feels really good to me to kind of do a gentle pull, stretch on my earlobes. Yeah. And then this place right in front of the ear, so being kind of pretty gentle, but just a little self-massage up and down. This is the top of the jaw. It's right here. That's a really vital place. A lot of tension there. And then just to kind of finish off, because we just have a minute left or so, there's a an acupressure spot called bladder 1. Headache, you might hold here just instinctivly, and you can do it with 2 fingers like this. You can do it with 1 hand, holding your nose right between your eyes. And this is a great point for eye strain. Yeah, and then release it and just take a moment to feel your face. Like, did that feel good for you? Okay, so that was here, and then there's another one right at the sort of inner tip of the eyebrows. So this is another great point. There can be a lot of tension in these muscles, right? So let's say I'm on my computer and I'm focusing a lot. I could be doing this with my face. So pressing here is great. Take a breath in, or you could do some little circles, or even some kind of opening the forehead up. So bladder 1 and bladder 2. And then the last one is called Triple Heater 23. Silk Bamboo Hollow is the name. And it's right at the outer tip of the eyebrow. More or less, there's a dimple in the bone. There's a little dip that you can feel. It's sort of the forward part. Finding that little dip and then gently holding it, and take a breath there. It's just past 9 o'clock. Thank you very much for joining. As always, if you have it at gmail.com. And if you would like to donate a little bit to support, you can donate via Venmo, and it's just my name, Gabriel Hoff, or PayPal. All right, so tomorrow on Ithaca Morning Movement will be Dr. Melissa Miller again at 9:30, and I think she's working on feet, if I remember correctly, from her newsletter. So that should be great. More comments so far. Thank you all very much. I hope you have a wonderful day.